need that microphone, I think, to hear everybody correctly. I'm very conscious that I'm running into the coffee break, so I'm actually going to go quick because I don't want to deprive anybody of caffeine at this point in the day. So thank you for the introduction. I work for Trinity College London, not to be confused with Trinity College Dublin. And I have actually had a couple of questions today. People go, so what is Trinity College London? And I thought I would, just before I get into NoteLab English, just tell you a little bit about what we do. So we are actually an awarding body, but we're also an educational charity. And we have our roots in music. So as an awarding body, we do English language, but we also do music, drama, and arts award, which is kind of a really interesting mix, I think. But the Trinity name comes from our relationship with Trinity Conservatoire, going back to about 1872. And then at some point in the early 1900s, we became Trinity College London, but we still support Trinity through our charitable status as well. So, in terms of English language and TESOL, we are probably, on the TESOL side, probably as widely recognized as Cambridge worldwide for initial qualifications into teaching English as a second or foreign language. Here in Ireland, we run several exams. We do the GESE exam, which is a 2 skills, 1-to-1 exam with an examiner. And then we do the ISE exam, which is typically used for visa purposes for students from outside the EU. So we work with lots of centers here in Dublin and across Ireland. And then we also do communication skills, which is kind of interesting because that is not a language exam, but it sits in our drama and speech and communication suite. And it's much more about developing soft skills. So for students that really want to go on and develop their presentation skills for employability or for academic purposes, it's a brilliant exam. So that's kind of what we do in this space. The whole conference theme is AI, and I wanted to tell you about something that we've recently launched. And just as a kind of lead into that, about this time last year, we produced a report on AI's impact in education. And interestingly, reading the questions on the back wall, on the Post-its, this whole report it took about 1,200 educators that participated in this poll, if you like. And it was all about, what is your current use of AI? What do you think about it? Where does it sit in terms of teaching and also of student use, and what's the future? Again, very much aligned with the questions that are being asked today. So I'm not going to go through the whole report, but there were some really interesting findings. It's a quick read if you want to access it on our website. But some key things, 3/4 worry that students' misuse of AI will be a persistent problem. Over half of the people polled think AI will transform education in unforeseeable ways within 5 years. And a large proportion still think AI is too unreliable, but many wouldn't ban its use in the classroom. So some really nice high-level takeaways there. I won't go through all the stats here, but we went through working with educators across different sectors, so it wasn't just English language teaching, so they were primary school teachers, secondary school teachers, and it was across subjects. But we found about 3/4 at that point hadn't used AI in the classroom, about 1/4 had, and some of the different reasons in terms of how they used it in terms of planning and resourcing, reducing their workload. That was a big element that came out of it in terms of saving time. And then, again, some key takeaways saying that, how people's attitudes towards using it for lesson planning, over half wouldn't use it to customize an experience for individual learners, but they might use it to sort of drive their overall lesson plan for a class. In terms of assessment, that obviously as an exam board was really quite interesting to us, how educators' attitudes were thinking that it wouldn't be used in assessments. Over half felt that it wouldn't be AI-led. So some really interesting takeaways. I would encourage you to go and read it. I hope that we will do another poll because it's such rapidly changing views on the use of AI. But what I wanted to tell you about today is an innovation that we've had. And interestingly, NoteLab is it's a lesson plan generator tool. It's free access, completely free access, but it is being designed by English language teachers. We are also launching one for music as well, for music teachers. So that's when you go into the platform, you'll see you can choose music or English. There, some of you do both, but you can take a look. So I just wanted to show you what you can do with NoteLab. I'm not going to do a demo. I'm just going to, I guess, really this is trying to frame some of the conversations that have been happening today, that some very high-level tools that people have explained, and maybe you don't know how to use prompts, maybe you've never done it, it might be scary. So I would say that NoteLab is probably for somebody who wants to dip their toe into using AI. But a lot of the work is done for you. You don't have to really think too much about what you put in. So to generate your lesson, there's quite a few different levels here. But you're going to start with your lesson plan topic. And easily you can choose your CEFR level, or if you're actually doing a Trinity exam, you can link it to GESE or ISE. So that will pull out all the language functions that are required in those exams, as well as what the assessment criteria are. But generally speaking, use your CEFR level. And then you have the ability to choose what type of group work you're doing. I need to be a bit closer to it. Yeah, sorry. So you can choose your skill area that you want to focus on. You can do multiple skills as well if you wanted to do it as an integrated activity. Then you also have how much time you have, how many students are you're working with, and what's the class type? Is it, are you got a big classroom, you got group work, one-to-one, and so on. So you can choose all of these preferences. And then you can get into more sophisticated language functions. So there might be certain things that you want to practice with your students, and you can search for things and put them in. You can put multiple ones in there. Do a grammar practice if you want to use grammar. You don't have to complete every section. You can choose what you want to do. Obviously, the more honed you are, the better the lesson you get with more coverage. You can also do lexical sets, vocabulary sets, and then you have your learning aims and your intended outcomes as well. And then you have things that you, a context and things you may not want to include, so things that you've already done before. And then you generate your lesson, and it gets emailed to you. So you have an account, it's free, it goes into your inbox, and you get a slideshow presentation that you can adapt, change, add to. You get handouts that you can use with your students, again, which you can adapt, change, save, and all the notes and answers that you need that go along with that lesson. Again, probably something for somebody who wants to just try something out. You want to get out of a course book, try something a little bit different, but probably saves an enormous amount of time. So that is NoteLab English. And then just a couple of things on the professional development side. We are holding the Future of English Language Teaching Conference. This is our 10th one that we're doing online. We've got, traditionally we get about 4,000 people registered for this conference. It's brilliant. And they come from about 120 different countries around the world. But we now have a call for papers open. So the actual event is on the 4th of October. And we have a call for papers open until the 6th of June. So we would very much welcome any of you to take part and participate as a speaker. There are 4 different strands in the conference. So we have teacher education, we have technology and innovation, we have young learners, and then we have English for specific purposes or academic purposes. So if you have a certain specialism, likely you can find something in one of those strands. Come and speak to me if you'd like more information, or drop us an email and we can point you to the submission. And then ongoing every month, typically every third Wednesday of the month, we have the Transformative Teachers webinar series. Again, you can go back and watch recordings, but you do need to register if you want to access recordings. And we also do reports of attendance for these as well. They follow the same kind of strands. You can pick and choose what you'd like to attend, but super useful. Again, free CPD for everyone. That's it. Thanks very much. Enjoy the coffee.